Happy New Year, U.S. Hemp Roundtable members and hemp supporters across the country. We are back with our 6th annual year in review covering our successes and some of the work left to do following 2022. First, I want to thank you all for all of your hard work this year, for supporting our efforts and for your advocacy. Together, we were able to make a lot of great progress and are in a really good spot heading into the new year. With that being said, we're going to need your continued support because we have a big year ahead, so we hope you'll be ready to hit the ground running in the next couple of weeks when we do. Now I'd like to turn it over to our General Counsel, Jonathan Miller, to recap this past year.
It's been a slow and steady progress, but hemp managed to make up some ground in 2022. We at the U.S. Hemp Roundtable have been working with lawmakers in Congress and in the state legislatures to try to help develop a strong legal and regulatory framework for hemp and hemp products like CBD. Here's our 2022 year in review recap. At the state level, we've been tracking nearly 6 proposed hemp-related policies, regulations, or pieces of legislation across different states. In about a dozen cases, we became heavily involved to promote or prevent changes that would have tremendous impact on the industry. Some of the states were debating issues that have been consistently raised since hemp was legalized in 2018. For example, in California, we had to make sure that out-of-state hemp products such as CBD could be sold in state, and we're successful there. In Tennessee, our local partners were able to make sure that interstate transportation of hemp concentrate containing up to 5% THC would be allowed to be transported. In North Carolina, the hemp program is set to expire, but again, our local partners worked to pass legislation to align the state program with the federal program. And in Utah, we were able to help pass a bill that provides that veterinarians can discuss hemp and CBD with pet owners. But in most state capitals across the country, 2 issues predominated the discussion on hemp. Number one, what's the appropriate way to treat intoxicating hemp-derived products, such as delta-8 THC? And number 2, how do we protect non-intoxicating hemp products like CBD from onerous regulation? With intoxicating products, there were 3 options, basically. 1, let's criminalize it. Number 2, let's do nothing and let these products continue to be sold without regulation. Or number 3, let's come up with a reasonable plan to regulate them akin to adult use cannabis and keep them out of the hands of children. Now, obviously, the roundtable and most of the industry chose that third path, and we were working with state and regional advocacy groups to share that with legislators and regulators. The most promising efforts might be coming in Kentucky, where hemp historically emerged and where our political leadership has always been strong. There, the governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear, issued an executive order calling for the regulation of delta-8 THC products. And we've been working with his staff and agency to come up with responsible rules that can be modeled for across the country. In other states, such as South Dakota, delta-8 product sales were restricted to adults ages 21 and up. Unfortunately, the effort to crack down on intoxicating cannabinoids by these legislatures and regulators has sometimes extended to non-intoxicating cannabinoids like CBD. For example, in Virginia, Colorado, Louisiana, Minnesota, there were bills out there that would have extended or did extend age restrictions to non-intoxicating hemp products, which we believe are unwise. Where this is hopefully a matter of change is that in a number of states, task forces are being set up to deal with both intoxicating and non-intoxicating compounds. Real promise is being seen in Virginia and Colorado. In Virginia, where they cited heavily our testimony, there are efforts to try to carve out CBD and other non-intoxicating hemp cannabinoids from strict regulation. In Colorado, a task force with some of the roundtable members has been working very closely to come up with model standards for that state, but hopefully also for the country, to help determine what levels of THC are appropriate to be labeled as non-intoxicating hemp. This is going to be a battle ahead of us. Texas, there's already a pre-filed bill that would ban hemp products containing synthetically derived THC. So we'll be keeping a close watch out for that in 2023. On the federal level, hemp could continue to face headwinds. It was a difficult year to get anything passed in Congress, with government spending bills and midterm elections taking up most of the energy. The U.S. Hemp Roundtable had very successful fly-ins with its board and its members, with congressional leaders, and laid the groundwork for success. Our top issue, of course, has been regulating CBD now, trying to get FDA to finally regulate hemp and other hemp extract and CBD products. FDA continues to push back, but we've seen some signs of encouragement. Robert Califf, the FDA commissioner, came out and said that he wanted to develop a regulatory path, and was disappointed that his agency had done nothing in the last several years. FDA hired a former cannabis regulator, Norm Birnbaum, as a senior public health advisor, and that indicates that the agency is ready to tackle CBD and other hemp cannabinoids. And then just in the last week of the year, according to the Wall Street Journal, the FDA claimed that within a few months it will release a regulatory assessment of CBD and other hemp products. And we're hopeful that that is a sign that progress will be made in 2023. However, we can't take that for granted. The FDA continues to issue warnings, particularly in the food and beverage area, and we're concerned that any regulatory approach they might take may be too burdensome. That's why we've been fighting for legislation at the federal level. HR 841, HR 6134, F 1698, all would provide for regulatory pathways for the sale of hemp and CBD products. We have terrific bipartisan support. Altogether, more than 60 members of Congress supported these bills. And we're hopeful that the progress will be such that this will carry on into the 2023 general session. In July, the U.S. Hemp Roundtable Vice President Eric Wong testified at the first House Agriculture Committee on meeting on hemp, and argued that Congress should regulate CBD as a priority of the new Farm Bill. Fortunately, the reception we got was fantastic, where both the chair and the ranking member of that subcommittee where we testified argued that we definitely need to get the FDA to regulate CBD and encourage that in discussions on the 2023 Farm Bill. The ranking member and future chair of that full committee as well said that FDA needed to get active. And then the future chair of the House Oversight Committee, Jamie Comer, later testified and led questioning during a cannabis-related hearing, arguing that the FDA needed to develop a regulatory framework for CBD. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But we are very hopeful that 2023 and the Farm Bill will offer that opportunity to finally get the regulation that we've required. Now, CBD isn't the only issue on the federal level. Certainly, there's a lot of discussion about intoxicating hemp-derived cannabinoids such as Delta-8. The FDA and the CDC issued emergency warnings on those, and a lot of legislators are looking to take action. We don't support a ban. Rather, we are supporting a forthcoming amendment to the Hemp Advancement Act that would create a federal commission tasked with defining scientific levels of intoxication and allowing that intoxicating products would be strictly regulated akin to adult use cannabis and kept out of the hands of minors. The Hemp Advancement Act which was introduced by Congresswoman Shelley Pingree in February, had a lot more to it as well, aiming to ease regulatory barriers for hemp farmers. It would raise the THC level for crops from 0.3 to 1%, protect in-process hemp extract, remove the current ban on convicted felons from getting a license, would expand the number of laboratories that could test for THC. We also have some other projects that we're working on. The Value the Seed campaign would provide regulatory relief to farmers who use certified seed that protects against spiking THC levels. We're also working with the Hemp Feed Coalition to develop legislative language that would promote the use of hemp in animal feed. A big disappointment of 2022 was the failure for safe banking to pass Congress. After the House passed it 7 times, the Senate just continued to delay. And we were very hopeful that at the end of the year that safe banking would be added to an omnibus spending bill, but unfortunately it didn't. On the good side, both Democrats and Republicans, after that defeat, vowed to make sure to pass safe banking in 2023 to ensure that not just cannabis businesses, but specifically hemp and CBD business would have access to banking and other financial institutions. We're continuing to promote sustainability and social equity at the Roundtable as 2 of our key missions. One project that we were most excited about was working with the Tennessee State University and other coalition of Tennessee groups that were able to receive $5 million from the USDA to go towards sustainable hemp fiber research and supporting undeserved producers. We're proud to have supported this ground effort by organizing work sessions and strategy development and building in a project to develop a sustainability certification program that will be administered by the U.S. Hemp Authority. This is an example of something that demonstrates both that we can promote sustainability at hemp, but also promote the interests of minority serving institutions. The Roundtable is also working with the historically Black colleges and universities to increase the number of USDA Centers of Excellence next year from 6 to 10, and to promote the agency hemp research at these critical institutions. Uh, 2022 was a challenging year, but a year filled with hope for the future. And 2023 is going to be, we believe, a historic and pivotal year for the industry. With the Farm Bill on the legislative docket, we foresee the greatest opportunity for policy change at the federal level. Just as the 2014 Farm Bill provided for hemp pilot projects and the 2018 Farm Bill permanently legalized hemp, the 2023 Farm Bill could provide monumental help for farmers and businesses. Given the tremendous bipartisan support for the industry, and even the FDA's smoke signals that regulation is imminent, we're very optimistic about the FDA finally regulating CBD products, possible passage of safe banking, and securing provisions within the Hemp Advancement Act in the upcoming Farm Bill that provide regulatory relief for farmers. We look forward to more investment with hemp fiber and a focus on social equity. It's been 4 years of hard work since the 2018 Farm Bill, but we're ready to continue to see the fruits of our labor come into fruition for the industry. Thanks for all your help in 2022, and we wish you a happy new year, and may the year 2023 be a great year for the hemp industry.